Laura Dern, you co-star in the film Wild as Bobby, who is the late mother of Cheryl Strayed, who hiked 1,000 miles along the Pacific coast in the film. How are you cast in that role in the film?
I got very lucky that they asked me. Jean-Marc Vallee, the director, and Bruna Papandrea and Reese Witherspoon were the producers, and they asked me if I would be interested, and got me on the phone with Jean-Marc, which was very lucky to have an amazing conversation with him, and emotional and honest, and all the things you'd want from the filmmaker of Cheryl Strayed's story. And after our amazing conversation, I read the book for the first time. And, when you read Wild, it cracks your heart wide open, and you feel very privileged to be part of knowing her story and how it impacts you, let alone being asked to help, portray her story. And then read Nick Hornby's script, and we were off and running.
Was there anything in particular about the memoir when you did that really struck you in an emotional way that made you especially eager to participate in it?
Oh, a lot of things. Namely the fierce, authentic voice of Cheryl, her immense forgiveness of herself and all her choices, the things that brought her to who she is today. And when it comes to her mother, to get to portray someone who has such extraordinary earned gratitude from all that she's walked through, and that she can find joy and happiness in each day with the life she was given is very inspiring, and so something that was healing and taught me a lot to get to play that amazing woman.
Bobby was such an important motivation in Cheryl's life. Did you have a chance to consult at all with Cheryl for any insight into her mother, or, to inform your performance? Was she very involved in the making of the film?
She was very involved, and in fact, that was the great gift really for all of us on the film, from production designer to costumer to actor to cinematographer. I mean, she was there for all of us. I mean, 90% of the time in production. We filmed in and around Portland, which is her home, so I think it became an incredible opportunity, and she was such a champion to every collaborator on the film, really without judgment. And I know particularly, she's told me now, in the case of me, she was probably the most concerned and protective of how her mother would be portrayed. And luckily for me, we built a very beautiful, lasting, and fast friendship. And I think and hope that helped the process for both of us.
That must have been an intense experience for her, being such a part of these people who are telling her life story and her family's story. But it must have been kind of intense for you, to have kind of the pressure to give voice to this woman who isn't alive now, to speak for herself and to do her justice for her daughter who's working on the film. What was that? Did you feel a lot of responsibility there?
I definitely felt responsibility. And if anyone has ever freed you of feeling pressure, it would be Cheryl. She's hilarious, and very kind. So I didn't feel pressure. I definitely felt deep responsibility and challenge to keep it honest and keep it pure, and hold, hopefully, the weight of her mother's light in every way that I could inhabit that for the movie. So, it was a dance. And when it comes to her daughter, her amazing daughter Bobby, named after her grandmother, who was 8 at the time we filmed, I think I hope that was great for all of us. I have a daughter the same age, and they became dear friends. And I think Cheryl entrusting her daughter with me and them both feeling safe with me and getting to know my daughter and watching me parent, all of those things hopefully built the level of trust we needed to kind of throw ourselves into not just doing a movie together, but, you know, retelling her own mother's life, which must have been incredibly emotional for both of them.
In the film, what we see of Bobby, comes from, Cheryl's perception, her memories. Did that affect how you played her, knowing that you were not only playing, Bobby as an independent person, but also sort of playing Cheryl's memories of her at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, tried to learn as deeply as I could from her memory. And her telling, and as honest as Cheryl is about herself, I always got the feeling she was being that extraordinarily honest about her mother. And I also got the feeling that that's just how her mother would want it. And I felt proud to be part of that. I felt honored to be part of that. And so you try to keep it simple, and you try to keep it simple because memory is elusive, and we don't remember profundities because they feel profound. We remember them because as we go through life, we think, my God, that was the most valuable lesson I received, and sometimes we don't know it till 20 years later that memory is triggered. So, so you try to keep it honest and powerful without feeling like you're trying, which is complicated, I guess. And Jean-Marc was the best guide in the world for that.
Yeah, because your character is seen only in flashbacks. You're not obviously present for the scenes of Cheryl's hike along the Pacific coast. So what was your experience like when you finally had a chance to see the finished film with everything integrated into that whole story?
It was amazing. It was amazing because I felt privileged that they all included me as a major collaborator, from several different cuts of the film to including me in all of us having a dinner after the first time Cheryl saw the movie and listening to her notes and making sure her voice was, the most deeply heard. I felt that my contributions meant something to the rest of the team, which is a lovely energy, and I think everyone felt that way. And I was awestruck by the beauty of the film in terms of how it was shot and the look of the film, and both Jean-Marc and Yves Bélanger, our DP's work, but also how Jean-Marc wove together through his master editing, of which he edits his films, edited this film as well. He the weaving in and out of memory without needing it to be linear storytelling, which of course memory never comes to us that way, which was so refreshing to see in a film, and the use of music and sound and imagery. I was just blown away. And how he used everything we did together to really feel the heart of the film being this love story between these two women, between this mother and daughter. It was a rare privilege to watch, be put together, and be part of.
Now, in addition to working with Reese Witherspoon as your co-star in the film, she's also a producer. Was it different working with her in that capacity as well as an on-screen partner?
Different only in that I saw her witness to and care about every detail. I hadn't worked with her before, so I can't say perhaps that's the way she works as an actor. But it was beautiful to watch her in the moment, be focused purely in the acting, and then immediately snap into whatever Bruna needed from her, or Jean-Marc, or a question about weather and location changes. you know, casting, all the things that were going into changes that would happen during production. Because regardless of the fact that I know she has said, like, you know, then when I was acting, I had to let everything go and just focus on that. There were still 20 decisions to be made each day that I know she was a massive contributor to. So it was really gorgeous to watch her be able to come and go from the different titles involved, and how immensely protective she was of Cheryl at all times.
I had a chance to talk to Nick Hornby, the screenwriter, a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about how quickly the film came together, just from before the script was even written and to when the final shot was shot. Was that what it was like for your scenes? Did you feel like it was a very fast-paced, efficient production?
Absolutely, it was incredible. I mean, literally, I heard, you know, I had known of Cheryl's book but had not yet read it, but friends had been madly in love with it, and I heard Jean-Marc was coming aboard to do this, and Reese was doing it, and then I was asked to do it. And next thing I knew, they were shooting, and I was there, and I was talking to Cheryl and trying to get as much information as possible, and weather was coming, and everything was moving quickly, and it was time to shoot all of our scenes. I've never seen anything come together quite that quickly. It was amazing to watch, and amazing given the window of time they had for the trail, that they were able to do it, because otherwise they would have had to wait an entire other year before they could start again.
And Jean-Marc Vallee's output has been pretty impressive. I mean, he just last year directed Dallas Buyers Club, and now he's back, this year with this film. What was it like working with him on your scenes? What, that speed and efficiency, how much care also was there with the scenes, and just what was that working relationship?
Well, first, it was incredible. He's the best. Every actor should run at the opportunity to work with him. He is so determined and fierce and clear about his vision, while also being gentle and generous and open-hearted and present. And so it's a dream come true. But also, he did Dallas Buyers Club. As he finished it, he started this. We wrapped. The next thing we knew, myself, Reese, and Cheryl, I can speak for, is we all went to film festivals to see the movie finish for the first time, all watch it together. And we've been doing press, speaking to journalists like yourself over the last several weeks. And Jean-Marc has gone and made another movie. I mean, we were like, wait, we've only done press, and you've made an entire other movie. I don't know how he does it, but he's just finished his yet next movie. So I find him remarkable, and he puts as much passion and care and commitment and perfectionism into each one. And loyalty, fierce loyalty to his crew, to the people he loves that he works with in Montreal, to the actors he puts together in each film that he works on. It's really amazing to watch. He's extraordinary.
And of course, Dallas Buyers Club was in last year's Oscar race, and last year's race also included your father, Bruce Dern, for his performance in Nebraska, and I know you were very supportive of that film and that performance last year. What's it like being able to support, your father's film on the awards season, sort of campaign trail, as opposed to, one of your own projects?
Well, it's amazing. It's hard with family to disassociate one from the other. Perhaps with one's own movie, you're in the commitment to the job of selling the film, of being part of a piece of art you care about. But when it comes to your own family, you're just really there celebrating them, enjoying their work, being honored for their work, having it create other wonderful work that they get to collaborate on, all those things. mean a great deal. And when your parent is 78 years old and having the time of their life and feeling they're doing their best work, their most fun they're having as an actor, you're just sitting in awe and just so thrilled for them. And on top of it, he was working with some of my best friends in the world who I was with when they started their careers. Alexander Payne with his first film, Citizen Ruth, and Kevin Tent, our editor. And so to be with them, watching them work with Dad was a whole other level of incredible joy.
Speaking of awards, just to rewind a bit, I mean, I had a chance to talk to you last year to when you were promoting Enlightened, and then a little bit after that, you were nominated for an Emmy Award for that performance, which might have been a little bittersweet because the show had sort of flown under the radar, and it was canceled after the second season. So what was that feeling like? What experience to sort of get that recognition finally for that show, but not to be able to do any more of it?
Well, it's always bittersweet to say goodbye to a character you've fallen in love with, and I am madly in love with Amy Jellicoe, so I'll always kind of hold a piece of her in my heart and would wish to play her again for sure. But what's been most amazing beyond accolades has been the support of people like you, of journalists and critics, and to have finished the film and had to say goodbye and then have many magazines and newspapers deem it their #1 favorite show from the last couple of years was extraordinary. I mean, it's shocking when you're considered in the top 10 and it's not necessarily the highest rated show. So when it's #1, you feel like the work was seen by people who care about unique television that is trying to do something different, and that has been great. And beyond that, the show continues to grow, which is the really cool thing now about people downloading full series they haven't caught up with. So I meet people who say, oh my God, I just watched the 2 seasons of Enlightened this week. And they finally found it. Just like people who found Breaking Bad this year or any other show they've fallen madly in love with. I watched The Shield just in the last 2 years, in this massive, I think it was 6, 7 seasons of it in a row. We get to find unique work in a really cool way, and we tried to do something different that we cared so deeply about. So more and more people discovering it is so exciting and means so much. And of course, awards mean a lot too when you're trying to do something that's got a unique voice to it, an independent film, an independent cable television, because more people know about it and more people find their way to it, and that means such a great deal.
You mentioned how people discover things after the fact. It's part of how the TV industry is changing very rapidly, and these days, even when a show seems to be over, that's not necessarily the end of the story, because you see shows like The Comeback is back on the air now after airing a few years ago. Twin Peaks is going to come back after 20 years, so you never know. You might actually get another chance at some point to play Amy again.
You never know. It's true. I mean, it's changing, and the way we consider its merit is changing, which is exciting because we were very used to one way of defining whether or not a show was successful with Nielsen ratings, and it's a new formula now because we're all finding television very differently, and so hopefully that will open the door to television being given staying power by its networks, just merely because of its content and its value artistically, because it's so hard to gauge who's watching and when they're going to watch it. So I'm super, super excited to know that Amy Jellicoe is alive and well and being found by a lot of people, and as you say, thanks to the way other shows are being found, you never know.
Well, I want to wish you the best of luck on the film as you continue on this year's campaign trail with Wild, and best of luck for the season. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your support. You're so awesome.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.